wait, no, that was for October, wasn't it? What month is it now? Oh, it's November the 5th. Yay, terrorisms! I've got a feeling that might be taken out of context. London, one of the most diverse cities in the world, and the actual setting of a video game in 2020. A video game that is possibly the most ambitious game of the year. Watch Dogs Legion is a game that I've been excited about since about 2017, when the teaser trailer thing cropped up for Cyberdog, and I've never wanted a game more. I've never wanted that bit of a world more in a game. There's just something about London that's different. London's just one of those places that you don't really see in games, and if you do, it's just a small section. It's like that one bit in Uncharted 3. There's that one bit in Tomb Raider 2, is it? 2 or 3? Christ, I hope it's 3. Was it 3 that had St. Paul's? I don't remember. But beyond that, I think there was Driver, and there was small sections in games, but never... London is never the contemporary setting for games. Mostly it's some bloody place in America, mostly Los Angeles and New York. And after about 20 years of 3D open worlds, I'm a bit sick of them. I'm a bit sick of LA, I'm a bit sick of New York. I just want somewhere a bit different. And London is that. London is just, well, it's a sightseeing tour of vulgarity. You walk down the street, you're going to have a vulgarity shouted at you. You might have done nothing, but vulgarities cometh in every direction. That's London. I love it. I love it to bits. I mean, I might have killed that person's gran as I barreled through a pedestrian precinct and killed some people, but, you know, that's what happens when you are called a terrorist by the military police. Watch Dogs Legion's London is a bit of a mess. It has bits that are cut out, it has bits that are shrunk down, it has bits that are not really there. But for the most part, because it is London, because it is the sightseeing tour mecca, if you will, it is just, you can navigate yourself by looking up or knowing how far away from each bridge you are. If you can stand on a bridge, look down the Thames and see the HMS Belfast, you know, oh right, down there, and then I'm there. If you can see the Houses of Parliament and Elizabeth Tower, yeah, don't tell me it's Big Ben. I'll hit you. I'll hit you with my shoe. Nonetheless, you can do all of this and you can see where you are by just looking at where you are. There are times where I've stood on a corner from the game loading up after taking a break, and I've gone, right, if I go round this corner and down this street, I should be on Piccadilly Circus. And I was. I've found a game where I can instantly know where I am. I don't need to spend hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of hours playing it. Grand Theft Auto. It's just, it's London. You know where London is. You know where things are in London because every gangster film, every Kingsman? No, well, Kingsman isn't really all about London. It's all about bits and pieces and such and so on. And nonetheless, the point is, you know where you are. You know where you are because it's London. It's London. I heart London. There's lots of shops that sell that t-shirt, I heart London, and I want to bash their faces in. I hate every last one of them. Oh, I love London. Shut up, you tart. That said, London doesn't feel like London should. There is noticeable differences in how you interact or generally how the world feels. If you've ever been to London or you've seen London as it properly is, you know that there's a whole swathe of accents. You know that there should be hundreds and hundreds of accents, languages, and so on, and it should all feel like a proper melting pot. But it feels like a Canadian or American came in and said, I want to make a game set in London, and then proceeded to do so without that feeling towards those accents. I know why they're not there. I know why there's a bit missing in my head for that, but it feels like there's something taken away from it. It feels like there's just that little tiny bit just ripped out. I love it nonetheless, but it's a feeling. It's a feeling of London. It's a feeling that you only get there. It's a proper melding pot of sounds, sights, and otherwise. You have just a feeling of this is everyone. This is every single being that you could ever think of in one place. It's brilliant. Dress senses, sounds. I love it. I love it to bits. And I don't think I've ever had to say this, and I don't think I ever thought I'd have to say this about a game, but it just feels like London. It feels like London because of one tiny little bit, and I'll tell you why. And it made me feel happy. It made me feel endlessly happy hearing it, and I continue to hear it as I play on. And that is hearing traffic lights change. I know you're thinking, traffic lights, okay, light, sight, oh yes, and hearing. What? Have you gone mad again? No, I have not. See, in the UK, and I assume a few other countries, the UK has this thing where you need to be accessible to people, such as the blind. So if a blind person has a stick to feel their way around, they need to know where they are and hear when to go. So of course you'll see on the pavement, you'll see little bumps by crosswalks, by little points where you can cross the road. That is to indicate to people, hey, cross here. This is where a crossing is. Same with dogs. They sit there and wait. And then for getting across the road at the proper time, there's a little beeping. And it's a tiny, tiny, tiny thing. But that, with the sights of London, knowing what it looks like, hearing that, just that tiny beep off in the distance as I barrel down the road, just about killing a blind person, probably, I get a happy feeling. Again, as I nearly kill someone. it's just, it feels like the UK. It feels proper. It feels like you're there. That, you can hear the joy. You can hear the joy in my voice. I love it. Though, speaking of the sounds of London, I really don't like the soundtrack. And I know it sounds stupid. Oh, it's just the soundtrack. Turn it off. Turn off the music. It'll be fine. Yeah, the point of Watch Dogs 2 was its soundtrack. It had the cojones to go out there and have something that would hit you in the face. It had something that would be just there. It's something endlessly brilliant. I love it. But Watch Dogs Legion has... it just plays it safe. It's... You know what it is? It is what kids listen to. It's that idea of a boardroom executive saying, what do the kids listen to these days? Is it the hippity hop? Or some other, other stuff? I don't know. I don't know what children listen to, and I don't know what boardroom executives think. They're parallel to what I am, an idiot. Okay, no, they are idiots, but my point is, yeah, it's there, it's fine, but it doesn't have that hit you in the face feeling. It doesn't have a set to really kick you in the face. There's nothing there that I'm gravitating towards. Yes, there's maybe about 3 tracks in there that I'm going, oh yeah, I quite like this, but I already liked it. Watch Dogs 2 introduced me to a bit of Run the Jewels. It gave me a bit of, oh, here's Eric B. and Rackham. Here's Joel Core. It gave me something to listen to in-game. Whereas the soundtrack of Legion is just... It doesn't even feel like London. Or at least proper London, as you'd expect it. Well, I say proper London. It doesn't feel like what you'd want to hear from London. It isn't yellow, it isn't madness, it isn't something that just yells, this is London. This is the place that created this music. There's not even the Beatles, man. What? I know. But they're from Liverpool. Yeah, but Abbey Road? No? Okay. Bastards. Don't get me wrong, I like Lily Allen, the Gorillaz, Buzzcocks, and a bit of the classical stuff that they have in there, but it doesn't... It's not grabbing me. I already knew that music, I know that music well. I don't think, oh yeah, that yells London. It doesn't yell, hey, this sounds like it's from this place. It doesn't even sound like it's from this futuristic place, or near futuristic place, that London is depicted as. It doesn't feel like there's anarchy. It doesn't feel like there's anything really getting in your face and yelling, this is a thought, this is an opinion. It's all very... It's Radio 1. I had to think there because I had a moment of, is Radio 2 already in that realm of crap, or am I just getting ahead of myself and thinking of Radio 1? It's Radio 1. You know that crap music that 12-year-olds listen to, but they don't listen to the radio? Okay, yes, I'll admit it, 20-year-olds listen to it, but 20-year-olds can get right in the bin. I hate them. Every last one of them. anyone that's 20 to when was music last good? About 35 to 20. No, well, let's say 35 to anything lower. Get in the bin, all of you. In the bin now. All of you. I have the same opinion of the characters. Every last one of the youngins in the bin. You don't have the name Rick Mail. In the bin. Richard. No. Get in the bin then. I don't care for you. Away with you. Away with all of you. That brings me to the characters, which are everyone. Literally everyone. Every single human being. All of them. Yes, one of the most ambitious games in the world right now is a game that says, hey, you can play as anyone. Literally anyone. You want to play as Edna, Barry, Harry, Steve, Ethel, Glinda, Tim, Harold,
Get him out of here.
Kenneth, Keith. No, I've forgotten the rest of the names. The point is, you can play as anyone. You see them, you can be them. That's it. You can be anyone you find on the street. You want to be the homeless guy with the banjo? Go right ahead. You want to be Steve the banker? I don't suggest it, but you can. You want to be Ethel? Ethel who cannot run because her dodgy hip, even though she's a dominatrix. You can be. She might be 74, but you can do that. You can go out and recruit anyone you like. And I love that. That's one of the most ambitious things in the world. And it's only made better. Because not only do you have these characters that are within the database and you can go, oh, right, I want to be that person, that person, that person, that person. You also have friends. Okay, they have friends, and then when you play as them, you have friends. But you have these people that are known associates. You have social workers, you have lawyers, you have probation workers, you have friends that they have drinks with. You have these people that they might go meet, they might have relations with, they might do things with. And if you see those people on the street being harassed by Albion, you can go out and beat a man to death with a stick, if you so please. If you kill a known associate, that person will become, well, that person that is the associate of the person that you just killed, will be harder to get on your team. I'm not kidding. That... name another game that does that. Okay, yes, maybe The Witcher does little bits that are akin to, did you kill my brother? I will get vengeance or something. But this, it's bloody huge. You have palace guards that you can interact with and go, yeah, I want you, but I need to do something extra for you because you don't like me. You can hire a Bobby. You can hire him. You can get the hat. The hat. I don't know what else to say. You can be anyone. You can be... Okay, you can't be the villains, but why would you want to be? They're mass murdering psychopaths that like to sell limbs on the black market. Well, limbs and organs, you know, as you do. I haven't even gotten to the story, which is a good point, because it's a bit meh. It's fine, it works, but it doesn't have that Watch Dogs 2 thing of, I am Marcus, I have something against this. This system had a predatory action against me, I want to kill it. Whereas, really, Watch Dogs Legion is all about, here is a group that have nothing to do with the system of Bloom, CTOS, and all the others. It doesn't have anything to do with that. It's all about one group, one powerful group that have big guns, and you have to clear your name. Again, it is clearing a name, but you don't have an individual character to ground yourself in. You don't have someone that puts that ground level work in. You have Dalton at the start, played by the wonderful Warren Brown from Dead Set and Doctor Who, and apparently Luther, but I've never seen that, so you can be him for a while. I won't spoil what happens, but there's a moment early on in the footage that you're probably seeing where I was playing as him. I was in the Houses of Commons, and I barreled straight to the Speaker of the House's chair. You know, as you do. I pointed straight at a bench and made Dalton give the MP for Flydale North the Vicky. I was on the floor with that. I was happy. I was gleefully happy, because he just went, up you. Of course, there was no one in, but it was hilarious having that moment. And then, I won't say there's no other points that have that, but there just isn't that character. There isn't a character that is set in stone that you stick with. Of course, because you have permadeath, you have every character in London, you have so on and so forth. You have characters that are in that introduction, you have characters that are around, but you don't play as them, you are not them, you don't get to be around them, therefore you don't have that feeling that you had with Satara. You don't have Marcus, you don't have Wrench, though you can get Wrench in DLC. There's nothing there that grounds you in the story, the world, the entire chaotic mess that is being called a terrorist group. And as much as taking back our city, taking back London, that works well enough, but I comparing it with 2, it feels like a step back. It feels like, so far, I should say, I've not spent hundreds of hours, beating people to death just to get through the story. No, I've been using Ethel to infiltrate the Met, as you do. What kind of idiot uses a young man for that? I also beat a young man to death with a wrench as my older woman, and I feel good about that. I feel very, very good about that. That said, you can do quite a bit within the game. There is so much more to the world now because, well, there's a bit of a change. There's more to the shops. People have been complaining, but you don't get to go inside the shop. I don't care. I genuinely don't care, because it would just be a menu inside the shop. I'm fine being outside the shop. I'm fine being outside the shop at night, because that makes sense. There's a little menu on the outside of the shop where you press button. Well, you don't actually press buttons, but if this world was real, you'd press the buttons and things would plop out of a little thing that you'd open, and you go, oh, there's me mask, or there's me things, me skirt and high heels. Yes, I did make a man dress in high heels and a skirt. Why? Because that skirt looks like it's a kilt, and I want him in white stilettos, white not overcoat, the white blazer thing, a waistcoat, skirt, tartan skirt, and he looks badass. He does. He just does. I don't care what anyone says. Oh, but he looks effeminate. I don't care. He's grey-haired. He's sexy. He's an inventor. He's brilliant. I love him. I hope he never dies. Yeah, let's ignore the permadeath thing because I'm trying to avoid that for my first playthrough at least. But yeah, that's there. I'm gonna kill some pensioners. Ah, oh, sweet Jesus. That might be a young man's game, that. Nonetheless, in Piccadilly Circus, you can go to the mini shops. You can get a Hammers t-shirt and, well, it isn't really, West Ham, but you can have something that looks like a West Ham top. You can have the other ones. I don't know. Me liking the Premier League. Idiot. The point is, you can go up to every shop. You can get your things and you can dress however you like. There's more shops, there's more options. I love that. I love it to death. I mean, I want to kill everyone that runs a kiosk at midnight and, 9 Elms, but so be it. If they want to be attacked by some arsehole giving them the glump of death, so be it. That's their option. Watch Dogs Legion is easily the most ambitious game this year. It is one of the best ideas that I've seen in a game executed moderately well. There are issues, there are bits where it falls over itself, but it's something that you don't see in other games. It's something that isn't there. Yes, I don't like the driving all that much. There's a bit of a delay when you flick the stick, so you have to counteract that in your head. You can handbrake turn around corners like it's James Bond, but I'm not fully enamored with it, but I can work with it. The point is, Watch Dogs Legion is brilliant. I've spent, 30 minutes just exuding happiness over it. Even the soundtrack, which I don't like it, but it's fine, I can turn it off. I can turn that off and I can ignore it. But the rest of the game, I'm happy. I'm happy because it's London. I'm happy because it's a place I know. It's a place I can feel like, yes, I know this place. I love it. I love it to bits. I can go down there and I can go around here and, ooh, yay. Oh, I love it. I heart London. I'll beat myself to death later. I genuinely love Watch Dogs Legion. It is, I'm gonna say it, it's shortlisted for my game of the year. I'll tell you that right now. It's shortlisted, which is high praise considering I've played Wasteland 3 and Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2, isn't it? Oh, this year's been great.
Hello, you flying fuck.